Coming back to my CryptoQ media channel makes me happy. There has never been a more tumultuous time than the one happening right now in the Bitcoin industry. Things may appear to be collapsing, but I will clarify everything. Since my team and I have been making a killing on shorts as of late, the markets have bounced back, and we can expect things to get much wilder from here on out. First, allow me to do this. The market worth of Dogecoin surpassed $42 billion due to a 34% increase in price today alone. In the midst of all this chaos, I want you to know something very important. XRP's price jumped dramatically from 52 cents to over 60 cents, then dropped to 57 cents, and is currently up again, at 58 cents. Another reason I think now is a great moment to buy XRP is to store it for later is because of its great price. Right now, I can explain why it is true based on what's happening. The participating politicians did have historic runs for government, but they could have taken their popularity to new heights by devoting more time to debating cryptocurrency. I am here to present something to all of you. Behold, the race for the Senate of Massachusetts. Warren received precisely 19.2% of the vote. As for Warren, he was 59.6%. The thing with Deaton is that he was a 40.4% crypto supporter during the campaign. This unidentified man or woman suddenly showed up to run for office in a state where the Democrats had a stranglehold. The public can see right through the presidential election. Deaton won Massachusetts by a margin of 4% with Harris's 61.3% and Trump's 36.5%. Over 100,000 voters who had not previously voted for Trump ended up casting their ballots for Deaton. What makes this matter of paramount importance is that Republicans have been exceedingly outspoken about cryptocurrency during this election cycle. In my humble opinion, this is the sole explanation for the success of certain Republicans and the massive nationwide Republican wave. Put simply, cryptocurrency is converting Democrats to Republicans. You know what, I'm all for Republican candidates who have been outspoken about their cryptocurrency ownership. They are enacting legislation in support of cryptocurrency. Because several Republicans have recently won their campaigns and will enact crypto-friendly legislation that everyone must adhere to, the price of Bitcoin is currently skyrocketing. To put it plainly, the fact that the Republican-controlled House, Senate, and popular vote is absolutely insane. You would all benefit greatly from learning to trade and amass vast fortunes, but before we get into that, there is something else I must swiftly bring to your attention. Crucially important, though, is Warren Buffett's wealth pile. Sure thing, his cash pile from the past has been updated. At 28% of total assets, Berkshire Hathaway's cash position was at its highest point in at least 34 years as of the third quarter of 2024. The growth in Buffett's cash holdings over the past year is evident from this. The company's quick cash generation since the mid-2000s, coinciding with the 2008 to 2007 financial crisis, is shown in this chart. This is where we are at the moment. We were in a similar situation during the Great Recession. Also, this is the first time Berkshire Hathaway has held stock buybacks since 2018. If Warren Buffett thinks the market is too expensive right now, what does he think is causing prices to rise? Warren Buffett is notorious for doing this right before a big economic crash, and that's the problem. He has a substantial sum of money hidden somewhere. He achieved this during the 1999 dot-com bubble meltdown. This is something he started doing in the years preceding the 2007 to 2008 financial crisis, and it's clearly ongoing now. 2005-2006. What you need to know about Warren Buffett right now will change the way you invest for the rest of your life. Markets are about to go into a tailspin whenever Buffett hoards a large amount of cash. Is tomorrow going to be a bear market because of this? On no planet. However, this does suggest that Warren is essentially saying that the markets are overpriced right now, despite the fact that that is when the majority of people make their money. Now is the time for everyone to take stock, since as we will see, Warren Buffett started accumulating wealth well before the dot-com bubble burst, won't we? He reached the peak of his financial success a number of years before the bubble burst, in hard currency. After the boom crashed, he naturally staked everything on the markets. His emergency fund has shrunk significantly. He then decides to buy the dip. The same held true all through the 2008 and 2009 financial crisis. The zenith of human accomplishment was completely concealed from him. Everyone knows that the markets crashed in 2007 before the bubble burst, but he started selling off his holdings in 2006, just over a year before the market hit rock bottom. Plus, he obviously bought it in 2010 when the market crashed. If you look at him closely enough, you can see that he is really doing the same thing over and over again. He is notoriously tardy. It follows that the market will likely hit its peak shortly. It might be in the first or second quarter of 2025, depending on the market. As for Warren Buffett, he will certainly be watching for the bubble to pop. Not to mention he'll be buying that dip again. He expects his funds to refill to levels not seen since the early 2000s or the 2010s due to his enormous windfall. Okay, listen, he's no expert market timer, but when it comes to the fundamentals, he does decent work. The lowest price is what he always ends up buying. He rarely goes overboard. I want you to remember that it will lead to a lot of money for you. In our next meeting, we will talk about the SP 500. There seems to be an absence of some kind. The recent record-breaking 6,000 price point of the SP 500 was the topic of everyone's conversation. Once in a lifetime 1,000. A record-breaking $5 billion has been lost by US technology funds in the previous 4 weeks. For what reason is this happening? The following figure shows that US technology funds have seen $5 billion in withdrawals since October 1st, which is an unprecedented amount. Compared to when the market bottomed out in 2022, the amount of money fleeing the market at the moment is more than double. Despite the concealment of records, we have achieved record sales. Right now, someone is raking in a ridiculous sum of money. The market nevertheless had its greatest week of 2024 despite tech stocks losing pace. We were able to capitalize on this momentum, but it was certainly not the norm, folks. Even while technology fell 0.11% on Friday, the S&P 500 as a whole rose. What we're seeing and what I'm going to tell you is a massive, ridiculous retail transaction. We just had an election. This marks the beginning of the super cycle. People are buying in, and retail institutions are currently selling large on all this volume, yet it seems like this doesn't bother retail at all. We will not cease our rise. What utter nonsense. I was surprised to hear that this is actually happening at this very moment. I thought institutions would be the main drivers of price action. But right now it's on sale. It is feasible to observe. Numerous people gained financial gain as a result of this alert that we released on October 18th. Just a few days ago, I also mentioned that it has been absolutely insane for the last several days. But I'd like to bring this up with you all because I just want to show you that regular people are buying Dogecoin, even though no institutions are doing so at the moment. More specifically, no major institutions are purchasing Dogecoin, although as I indicated earlier, its value increased by 34% in a single day. It had fallen to about 25% when we began shooting this footage. Here we will examine the conclusion of the day. However, It seems like I'm trapped in a hyperbolic time chamber because everything transpired in the space of one day. We are back on an upward trend after a correction and a massive surge, 33% gains, mind-blowing, mind-numbing things. Watching my video is a privilege. After you're done, please subscribe and give me your feedback.